All right, so the following video is an excerpt from my live stream of a SpaceX Starlink launch from last night. It is a rant where I detail my frustrations with Blue Origin's live stream covering NS-28, New Shepard's 28th mission. And I just wanted to preface all this and let everybody know that it's not coming from a place of like bashing Blue Origin or their progress or anything like that. Absolutely not. I want them to do well. It's the opposite. I want them to do well. Competition is an amazing motivator for innovation. So I 100% want them to do well, but I was very frustrated with their launch coverage the other day, and it's something I just need to get off my chest. So it is virtually unscripted. I had a couple notes about where in the live stream I wanted to advance to, so I could point out some things. You may see it and say, well, that's kind of nitpicky. I don't think it is. I think maybe individually a couple things could be seen that way, but when you look at the totality of the circumstances, I know that my frustration, I was not alone in being frustrated. There were lots of social media posts about, what is up with this stream. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows it is constructive criticism, and I really want them to do well. But with that said, we'll get to it. I'm going to get into that. So this may sound crazy, but even being a rocket guy, I have never tuned in to a single New Shepard launch. Not for lack of, not for, hating Blue Origin or anything like that. I know a lot of people bash them, SpaceX people and so on and so forth, the dude bros and everything, but it's not for that reason. I just haven't. It just hasn't come up. I just haven't tuned into one. There hasn't been anything that I've been super excited about. And if I was excited about it, I was doing something else and couldn't. So yesterday they had NS-28. So New Shepard mission number 28. Emily Calandrelli, who I think the world of, was on this one. And of course I'm streaming, have been for 2 months now, streaming rocket launches. By God, I'm going to tune in and watch. And the stream that I saw was, for lack of a better term, really frustrating on a lot of different levels. It seemed very amateur. And I'm going to go through some of those things now. But I want to be upfront and clear that my criticism is not about the rocket. It's not about their progress. It's not about New Glenn. It's not about any of those things. It is solely based on their live stream, their production that they were putting out. So I started pulling the feed that I was going to pull. I guess before I do that, just a little bit of explanation. So how we live stream these rocket launches. First thing we have to find is a feed. It may be on YouTube from the rocket company. I will only live stream feeds directly from the company. I do not take from other people's streams. If I can get a feed from the rocket company, then that's what I'll live stream. If I can't get that, then I don't do it. But it starts off with trying to find a feed. So it may be from the rocket company's YouTube channel. It may be from their website. It may be from X. I've gone as far as to going to the Russian Roscosmos site in Russian and dig out their Russian live coverage and stream that. So yesterday when I decided to stream this NS-28, I went to the YouTube channel, Blue Origin's YouTube channel, pulled that up, got ready for the feed, started my live stream, waited for Blue Origin to go live. So I went to the Blue Origin YouTube feed, which is where 99% of people are going to watch this, to get this feed. They're not going to go to X. They're not going to go to the website. They're going to go to YouTube. It's the simplest. It was the first place I went. In hindsight, since I'm streaming it, I probably should have gone to their website, because I think some of these places will stream it from the website, but it's actually their YouTube feed that they've just embedded. But I think Blue Origins was direct on the website. Should have gone there, but that's just easy option. Hindsight 2020. I went to their YouTube channel. And So the stream starts up, and this is the first thing that I see.
Oceans to map new lands.
I see
Sought out the unknown.
the feed that I'm
always
getting
looking to the
is
stars.
at about 2 frames a second,
Curious.
and the
now
audio
we're at a
is
place
that
where we can
of
pioneer
a
new
potato.
horizons.
So instantly, I start freaking out because the first thing I think is, what's wrong with my system? Have I got an issue? Is something wrong with my internet? I check my internet connection. Internet connection is golden. Check the system, my how my performance is doing. Everything's golden. So I take out my phone, and I go to on my phone. I go to Blue Origin's feed on YouTube. Basically the same feed that I'm pulling on the computer, but I do it on my phone, so it's separate. And sure enough, it's at 2 frames a second. So I ended up real quick, kind of a quick, I don't want to say fix, but just to let everybody know while I try to sort this issue out or find another feed, I end up putting this little message on the bottom of the stream. And I'm just like, and I put on there as usual because I've tried to pull video from their streams after they've been streamed, just recorded, and the couple of times I've had nothing but pops and audio hisses and glitches and all this other stuff. So I already knew ahead of time a little bit, hey, this might not be the best stream, but go and look at their YouTube chat. And of course, everybody's having the same issue. And somebody says, hey, go to X. It's got a clean feed. So that's what I did. I ended up going to X, pulling the feed, and it was clean for the most part. Didn't have the frame rate issues or anything else. So sat back, started watching the stream. And what I saw was basically 30 minutes of pre-roll, meaning in the can, pre-recorded explanations of who the people on the flight are going to be, kind of their backgrounds and everything else. And as time ticked down, 20 minutes, basically the only shots of the rocket that we got were just like this. Some up close shots, but it was basically this one static looking off. And again, we go through each of the people and everything as time ticking down. And I'm sitting here thinking, when are they going to switch to the cameras inside the capsule? Because that's what I was excited about. You've got six quote unquote ordinary. I mean, these people they weren't pulled from an assembly line at GM. I mean, they're public figures, but for lack of a better term, ordinary. You've got these ordinary people who are strapped into a capsule, who are about to have a rocket lit under their butt. I want to see the excitement and the tension and the nervousness and the trepidation and all of that. I want to see that kind of drama. I don't want just a shot of the rocket from a long ways off, and I don't want to just see a bunch of canned pre-roll. That's the excitement of the whole thing, is these regular people going above the Kármán line. We want to see those things. We want to see the looks on their faces and how excited they are and kind of the drama. I get not wanting a live feed during the actual launch, just in case, hopefully not, but just in case something bad happens, just in case something goes wrong. But for the lead up to the launch, the space shuttle used to show internal shots of the crew during their lead up to launch. So, and those were astronauts. Those were trained astronauts. The same for SpaceX. When Crew Dragon, you get to see well in advance. You get to see the astronauts in there punching the screens and doing everything else. If it's thought that we should do that for trained, seasoned astronauts, why in the world wouldn't you do that for regular people? Those are the people you really want to see. I mean, a trained astronaut, somebody who's been through test pilots and things like that, they're just going to sit there. They're going to go through their checklists, and they're not going to have, a whole bunch of emotion about it. But when you have these regular people, and that's your big selling point on this New Shepard, is sending up regular people, when you have them strapped to a rocket, why in the world would you not want to show them before the launch live? Who wouldn't want to tune into that? I mean, that's all part of the drama and everything else. But instead of having those dramatic shots and kind of that human element, what we got was this. 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 3.5 minutes to launch. And we just got static shots from the outside. You know, this isn't exciting. This isn't exciting as it could be. I should say that. If you want the public to get excited about what you're doing, it's hard for that to happen when you have coverage like this that is just kind of canned and not showing the human element. I don't understand why you wouldn't have 3 or 4 cameras inside that capsule in the lead up to launch. Can you imagine the drama? So we went through that. We launched. The entire stream, even after I got a clean feed from X, still was at a pretty low bit rate. And on top of it being a low bit rate, there were tons of audio issues. There were popping and hissing and all kinds of stuff. But we launch, they go through the launch and everything, and they decide after the capsule lands that in order to kill time while they get a crew out there to open the capsule and all that fun stuff, that they're going to bring in Carson Kitchen, who is the youngest person to cross the carbon line. So at 46 minutes, they bring her in, and I'm assuming they are bringing her in on like a Zoom call. Let's see. So they decide to bring her in. They're going to bring her in on a Zoom call. She's got the little iPhone headphones, wireless headphones in, and well, I'm just going to let you hear it.
Hi, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for having me. This is just so exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little emotional watching this thing that much.
That right there, and I'm going to play it again because that was a little low. That right there from that phone, that is the best audio. That is the best that phone call got. You cannot make out every third word is dropped out. Listen again.
Our former New Shepard astronauts, someone who has experienced that very flight profile firsthand, Carson Kitchen, the youngest woman astronaut to cross the Kármán line. Let's patch in Carson.
Hi, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for having me. This is just so exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little emotional watching this thing that much.
So the entire time they have her on, it is very poor audio quality. We are well aware in this day and age that those little headphones and on Zoom is very poor audio quality and a lot of dropouts and so on and so forth. But okay, so here's my deal. This little lav mic, wireless lav mic that plugs into a USB port is $14 on Amazon. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. Send her a lav mic a week in advance and let her clip it on and plug it into her laptop, and you've got grade A audio. Nothing will kill a viewer's interest faster than poor audio. I'm telling you, your video quality can be crap, but if the audio is good, you're still good. But if you can have 4K, if the audio sucks, nobody's going to watch it. And so what we had to do is sit through this interview where it was just a garbled mess. And the poor girl, I know she had good information to share. She was very enthusiastic. But instead, we got to sit through this garbled mess of an interview. And it was just frustrating because we started off with the frame rate issues. We've watched this with a bunch of canned pre-roll instead of seeing the actual astronauts inside. And now, while we're waiting for the capsule to be open, we have to sit through a just garbled mess audio wise of an interview, and it just looked horrible. So the interview continues as you make it out as best as you can. And the host, God love her, they had two hosts. They were both excellent. They were great hosts. They did the best with what they had. But at one point, the host who is interviewing Miss Kitchen gets something down the wrong pipe. She chokes on something. She gets something on her windpipe and starts to cough and everything else, and is having trouble communicating. All right, so let's watch this.
Obviously, each person is responsible for playing their part, but we're also responsible for looking out with one another. And training
So
is
she
about
gets some
preparing
water
for
because she
mission
can feel
success,
that,
but
something's a little rough in her throat.
Well, I hope to someday go through that astronaut training experience. Now, we often hear that crews on New Shepard become very tight-knit. Can you tell us I'm so sorry, coughing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so since we do work on...
Look, that happens. It is not her fault. It happens to everybody. I've been given talks in front of 100 employees or something like that. You get a frog in your throat, you deal with it the best you can. My gripe and my complaint and my rant is with what happens next. Okay. So she's still on camera. She has managed to, even with this thing in her throat, she's managed to hack her way into the pass off where you're passing it off to the guest. And now while the guest is answering a question, that's her little bit of time to clear her throat, get her stuff together and everything else. And she does. She hits the mic kill.
We all have this,
and she's corking up a lung on the side. And the director finally cuts to a live shot. So when you're the director, you have to have some wherewithal and know what is going on. As soon as she started to have problems, they had a co-host. The co-host, there should have been plans in place ahead of time of the co-host to jump in, save her butt, let her get her stuff together, and move on. And instead, the director just kind of keeps her on there, even after she answers her or asks her question and passes it off to the guest. He still, or he or she, whoever the director is, still keeps them on camera while she's trying to gather herself for another 5 or 6 seconds. It just looks unprofessional. And I know that can sound like I am nitpicking. I get it. It can sound, it is a nitpicky thing, but when you combine it with all the other things that we saw on this, it adds together to where you have a stream that is just, it's amateur. Look, my streams look amateur all the time. I'm one guy. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. So Blue Origin, they already have an issue with kind of playing catch up. They are dogged in the media by a lot of people, or social media at least, by a lot of people, because they have not had anything orbital yet. They haven't, they've got this little rocket that just goes above the Kármán line and falls right back down. They've had all these detractors who have all these things to say. An excellent way to get ahead of that and on top of that is to have a live stream that is professionally produced and professionally run and solid from top to bottom. This is not it. And I know I'm not alone, because on Twitter yesterday, I saw a lot of comments of people saying, hey, what's up with the stream? The stream's kind of crap. The audio sucks, the frame rate issues, and what's up with this and what's up with this. So I know I'm not alone. It's just, as somebody who's taking this and then also presenting it on my channel, it's just frustrating on another level, because whoever's watching it, and I had just a few people, but the people that are watching it on my stream are immediately wondering, hey, is this my problem? Am I the one causing all these issues? And I wasn't, but I'm just doing the best with what I have. So I hope, it's 28 missions in. If they haven't figured it out yet, I don't know that they're going to make any changes, but if nothing else, I would, and God, they're not going to see this, but if someone was to see this, if magically I was to get a phone call tomorrow and somebody was going to say, hey, what can we do to be better, Mr. Nobody? If nothing else, by God, put a freaking camera in the capsule leading up to launch. Cut it off. Don't go to it 20 seconds before launch if you're worried about something going wrong or, anything like that. I'm sure this is all delayed anyway, but by God, for the last 10 minutes, I want to see shots of them, at minimum the last 10 minutes. I want to see shots of them in the capsule. I want to see shots of them just with the tension and the excitement and the nervousness and everything else, because that's what it's all about, right? You're advertising, sending regular people. How would regular people react going above the Kármán line, going into space? It's such a missed opportunity right now. And I wasn't the only one, because there were a lot of people in chat saying the exact same thing. And then if you don't want to advertise them, or if you don't want to have video of them on while the rocket's live, basically while they're shooting up into space, for safety concerns, if you don't want, then as soon as they hit the 0G, as soon as they separate from the stage, they no longer have rocket motors below them. The risk drops significantly. That would be the time to flip back over those cameras and let's watch them unbuckle and experience 0G for the first time. They video those things, but they don't show it until days afterward. And by then, the excitement's gone. The launch is over. You're just catching these things afterwards. No, do it during the live stream. Let's see them unbuckle their belts and experience 0G for the first time and float around and look out the window and see the vast blackness of space and how small we are. Look down at the planet and see that there are no property lines, there's no state lines, there's no country lines or anything like that. Let's see all that emotion and everything else in the live stream. You want people to tune in, that'll get people to tune in. But this, where we're just getting some static shots of the outside of the rocket going up and coming back down, prefaced by, some canned footage of who the people are, it's not going to draw people in. And right now, in my opinion, Blue Origin needs people drawn in. They need people excited about what they're doing, because SpaceX is kicking their butt when it comes to that. SpaceX is over there. It has the whole control room cheering and has, Lord knows, catching boosters and doing everything else. And, if you're Blue Origin and you're trying to get ahead of that and you're tired of being the laughingstock and tired of being told you're shooting a penis off into space, you need people to tune into these streams. And that drama, the inside the capsule, that's where people, that's how to get people in. So that's my rant. And I obviously planned it way too early. We've still got 19 minutes, so we'll just find something else to talk about.